Yo, Combat Jet. What's that, man?
No escaping. Get ready for combat. Get ready for combat.
When the show calls you and they tell you they're going to kill off your character, is there any type of negotiating? Like, yeah, can we make this work?
Yeah. There was definitely that. There was definitely, he was like, I don't know, man, because Lee doesn't run the show.
Right.
Him and Danny Strong created the show, but he doesn't run it. So there's a woman named Eileen Chaikin who created the L Word that actually runs the show, meaning she runs the writer's room. She's in charge of hiring the directors, oversees the whole creative process of the show. Then there's someone else who handles the physical production of a show. So I was definitely like, dude, like, really? Like, there's no way we could work. That's the story.
Right.
It's bad enough y'all haven't written anything real significant for me to sink my teeth into. People don't even really know who Vernon was.
Right.
And in my head...
And it seems like there's such a back
like,
story.
we came up, you were my attorney at one point.
Yes,
you
sir.
You were representing me in music.
You didn't know that, did you?
I do know. You told me that.
You were representing me in music
Yes.
at a time we started our little label. And so I come up with a music background. I grew up, like Dame Dash grew up in my building. I remember when him and Jay first met, or watching Russell create Def Jam in New York City, watching all these cats. So I knew who the Vernon type cat is supposed to be. In fact, by the third episode, I asked them, did y'all even write a bio for this dude? Because some of the stuff how am I supposed to connect these dots? Like, who were these people to each other? They're like, nah, we didn't. I was like, do you mind if I write one? So I wrote one that for me, I had to anchor myself in the truth of that relationship. This is a dude that, came from the South. Father was a pastor. They moved to Bed-Stuy in the 80s, beginning to crack. It was never about the crack game, but knew who was doing what. Was that kid that was like...
And tempered enough so he knew, or people knew that he had a presence to not fuck with him.
Exactly. But went to school, got the degree, did the right thing, went to Wharton, met Lucius when he was in Philly at a little party. Him and Cookie were hanging out, saw the kid had skills, and was like, yo, I'm going to do the business, you do the creative, we're going to build this empire. Like, that's how it has to be. Right? Like, none of these cats build a record label by themselves. And so for me, because this show wasn't created by people from the music industry and don't really understand the value to me of those relationships and those stories, or just chose to
the
not
subtleties
really of that. And so I had to root myself as an actor in that truth. Right. Otherwise, you're just floating around like whatever y'all tell me to do, I'm gonna do.
You're not making each scene count.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to just be a yes man. Right.
And you were very determined that your character didn't come off as his yes man.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Initially, in terms of what was on paper in the initial script, was it leaning towards that in a sense?
Nah, man. I mean, the thing that, Vernon was described as the chairman of the board.
Yes.
Right? So even though there wasn't much in the pilot, I was like, if he's the chairman of the board and they're trying to take a company public, there's a lot of room to talk about the business aspects of these two black men building a company in hip-hop in America right now. And so I thought we'd have an opportunity to get into the business of it, that it wouldn't be this high drama soap opera about, everyone backstabbing each other and fight. I knew there'd be some issues around jockeying for position, the King Lear, 3 sons, who's going to take over the throne construct. But I thought it was going to be a different experience. So, somebody script comes up and you're like, oh, so we doing The Sopranos now.
Right.
Oh, okay, so now I'm covering up for murders now.
Right.
Really?
So you're big pussy in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. What are you going to do? Forget about it.
Let me ask you something.
What are you going to ask me? Let me ask you.
Hey, listen, pussy. If you didn't write the bio, do you think that your character could have flowed in a way? Like,
I don't know, man. It's one of those situations where whenever you would ask, like, where's this going? Nah, we can't really say because the network, this and that.
And you got to keep people in the dark, in a sense.
You don't have to.
Right.
I mean, I've done shows where I have 3-4 scripts in advance.
Right.
Like,
So
Yeah,
so you're getting the scripts the week of, or the episode.
Maybe a few days.
Right.
A few days before the next episode. But in other situations, I've had a very different experience with the showrunners who were like, nah, we're going to let you know exactly what's going on. Because especially if you have flashback scenes, you have to know who you are, where you're coming from. So this was an odd experience in that sense. And they'd say, well, there's so many people who chime in, they change their mind. I'm like, well, I don't know. You know, it was weird. It was a weird experience in that sense.
Yeah. Let me ask you, man. Like when I watch Empire, and I enjoy the show. Like my wife actually piqued my interest. She's usually the one that's like brings me to watch. I was like, but then she got me there, and I loved it. And do people make the connection between Empire and Hustle and Flow?
For some people, I mean, they feel like it's an extension of Terrence and Taraji's characters, or that's been said, but not too much.
Yeah, how amazing is it to be in Taraji's presence? Because she's putting it down right now.
Yeah,
She's
I mean,
putting it
yeah. She is, and it's testament to what happens when they put the material in front of you.
Right.
If she had Vernon's lines, it wouldn't be it wouldn't be the cookie. So, and that's one of the things that, you know, I'm happy for everybody that gets to win. You know what I mean? And I'm really happy for her. Single mom, moved to LA. Didn't really get going until she was in her 30s, late 20s, or you know what I mean. Which is
old in the industry.
It's ancient.
Right.
You know how many women are at that age that are doing it, and she's ascending still, which I love, and she deserves it because she's incredibly talented. Like we finally had a scene together, just me and her. In the season finale, I was like, yo, it took 12 episodes. Like, that's the kind of shit to me that was like, really? Like, you don't see the value in making amazing moments between these actors that could really get in
and
there
extending
and
them.
play.
Right.
But at the end of the day, my father always said, build your own generator so when they turn off the power, you still have lights.
There you go.
And so my whole life has been 12 other hustles going on at the same time. And especially as an actor, other actors look at you like, how do you even have the bandwidth to think about this other shit? In fact, Lee Daniels, when we first started, like, we did the pilot. My company submitted a proposal to Fox a year ago, last March, before the pilot was even picked up. Just saying, based on what this show is, this is how, from a marketing strategy standpoint and creating brand extensions, we can really blow this shit up. I was concerned because I had seen so many missed opportunities in the past with shows I've been involved in. Typically because as the only black person in the cast who has a sense of the culture as we refer to it and knowing how to connect with people. If your PR people don't know who Russ Parr is, or Tom Joyner, or any of the black shit, why we need to be at CIAA, why we need to be at Essence Music, like you're like, I'm tired of having to like convince people these are the places we need to be so we can be relevant for the people that want to see what the hell I'm doing next, if nothing else, right? And so I was very proactive with that. And so I remember talking to Lee.
Were people listening to you when you, or was it?
They will listen, but do people take action is another story. I mean, they'll say, it was a great idea, but Lee was asking, like, why don't you just focus on the acting, man? And you're involved the
but you
market.
Can't just...
And that's what he said. He asked the question, and then he's like, well, I guess you can't, huh? This is your 13th show. I'm like, how can I sit here with all the knowledge that I have? Not just opinions, but knowledge.
Experience. Life experience.
Right. Actual experience.
And shut the fuck up. Like, how do you expect me to shut the fuck up?
And they're not saying shut the fuck up. They're listening. They're going, yo, this is good ideas, and we should, But it's not what they do.
Right.
So he's worrying about editing or his Richard Pryor movie. And I'm saying, like, when I first met with the writers last summer, 13 writers in the room. And normally bring an actor in when there's writers. And, all right, so what's my character? And where are we going to go? I didn't ask any of those questions. I went around the room and asked the interns to come join the circle. They were like, nah, I'm like, no, your opinion counts. And I went around and asked everybody, what do you think this show is? Give me your 50,000-foot view of what this show is. Because I needed to feel that philosophically we were all on the same page. Right. Because if I'm going to leave my family for 6 months and go live in another city or state or whatever to film something, then I want to know I'm with people that are at least of the same mind and spirit. And to me, the show is doing exactly what I thought it would do.
Right.
Because there's nothing else like it. Yeah. There's nothing else out there. Where is there a black family drama? So that alone is going to attract X amount of interest, and who the cast is, and other elements. So we had a recipe for success. And I just want to make sure that philosophically, spiritually, emotionally, we were all like, yo, we could change the world right now. and the show has, but on a very surface level
Right.
initially.
Right.
Yes, it's entertaining. How deep are we really going to get into the mental health issue?
Get ready for combat. No escaping. Get ready